All right, guys. So the topic today is going to be building a field recruiting culture through your field recruiting out in the field and through your personal networks. Okay, so we will go ahead and get things started. I got a nice little PowerPoint for you guys today. Let's go ahead and get things going. Start the slideshow. There we go. So, boom. So the theme today is creating a field recruiting culture. Guys, if you want to grow within the company and just if you just look at the rankings, the top 130 in the company, I would say at probably roughly half or so of those agents are from personal or field recruits. I was just doing some numbers yesterday and looking at the top 20 salespeople who are active agents in Schneider agencies. 10 of our top 20 agents for this year were a field recruit of some source. They were either a field recruit or they were a personal recruit, a friend or family member that we brought into the business within the last couple of years. So half of our top agents for this year were all field recruits. And we hire a lot more mass recruits, but field recruits on average do better. They usually just sell more just because they have some skin in the game. They already kind of know somebody who works there. That relationship is a little bit stronger. So guys, we're going to talk about that today and why it's so important to build a field recruiting culture. If you want to grow up the career track aggressively, field recruiting is definitely the key to it. It is the lifeblood of our business, recruiting in general. And I promise you, your team will grow faster through field recruiting than through, your agency owner just putting people on your team. That's not really, if all you do is mass recruiting, that's really not recruiting. You're just kind of hiring people who are interested in a new job. But if you're field recruiting and personal recruiting, that's really recruiting in this business, right? I've always been told that, college coaches, they have to go out and recruit their players, right? So this is the kind of the same mindset. And this is what really separates the elite people in family heritage from just kind of being there. So let's kind of dive into field recruiting and just kind of basics of it. This is going to be pretty basic level. Let's first start off with, what is field recruiting? So field recruiting is anything that's not a mass source. Okay, mass sources are anything from ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Career Fairs, RMS, Craigslist, Monster, Career Builders. There's others as well. But guys, and there, a lot of us were hired through these sources, which is totally fine. Schneider agencies would not be around if it wasn't for these sources. So we love using these, right? Now, field recruiting is generated from two main networks, in the field and your personal networks. Your personal networks can be friends, family, friends of friends, or someone met through social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, etc. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit later about Facebook recruiting. That's been a really big hit here this year, which is exciting. I really haven't dove as much into LinkedIn yet, but that is the next skill that I want to master is networking through LinkedIn. So why should you field recruit? So for one, personally, I feel like you can't do anything in this business unless you have a why behind it. I would not be an agency owner without field recruits. What brought me up to my agency ownership, a lot of it was personal recruits of agents. I know just, people on this call right now, right? Brian Glazinski, field recruit. Zach Tolbert, field recruit. Todd Stiles, he was a field recruit, right? So those three agents were huge in my growth within the company. And like I said, 10 of our 20 agents here in the Schneider agencies that have sold the most premium for this year, half of them were field recruits as well, which is exciting. You guys, if you think about it, why should you field recruit? Let's be honest, we don't have enough people doing what we do, right? Think about how many people you meet a week, right? So if you do 20 contacts a day, if you meet 20 people a day out in the field, that's about 100 per week. If you work 5 days a week, times that by 4 weeks in a month, that's about 400 people per week per month. So think about all those people that you run into that are possible leads that you can recruit. And also think about how many people live in the town that you sell in. So just think about the entire county. I guess some people on this call have entire counties to themselves. Just go to Wikipedia and just Google how many people live in Caldwell County, Mecklenburg County, I guarantee you the amount of people you see this year in the next couple of years, you're not going to see a fraction of the amount of people. So just think about how many other people live in that county that you never see. So let's be honest, we don't have near enough agents promoting the products. Also, guys, selling, you can make a really good living just by selling insurance here. But if you want to build generational wealth, recruiting is really the only way to do that in this business, building long-term wealth for generations to come, right? And also, why don't you recruit? Selling can get pretty easy, right? If you're brand spanking new in this business, selling can be very hard until you actually kind of hit your stride. But once you get it down, selling can get pretty easy. So don't be selfish. Challenge yourself, make yourself grow, and allow others outside of this business to have the same opportunity that you had. And obviously, it's going to give you more responsibility as well. And the lesson holds true. Why should you recruit? The teacher always learns more than the student. I personally have grown every year because I have forced myself to grow by recruiting it and having people in my hierarchy that's forced me to do the job the right way, and for me not to take shortcuts as a leader. You guys, we all came here for the financial opportunity. I know that when we first got hired, either if it was by me or by Van Davenport or by Todd or whoever hired you, you probably at some point saw the commission video, the compensation video, where you got to see long-term projections. If you work here for 10 years, 20 years, what your residual income would be if you just sold, and then you can see what your residual income would be if you had a team after 20 years. And I guarantee you 99% of people on this call saw that video and they got really excited when they're like, man, I can make 4 or 5 times more money, at least even 10 times more, if I just build a team over the next 10 or 20 years, right? And so I know that when we all got hired, we had the intention of building a team. So it's just us to kind of actually dive into it. Another reason why you should field recruit is that it's free. You don't have to pay a dime for it, right? We pay lots of money on mass recruiting, on Indeed, ZipRecruiter. Guys, those are good sources, but they're very expensive. We have 2 full-time recruiters that we pay for, Van and I. And then you have to think about all the ads we place, just the time. It takes a lot of time calling these people up and running interviews constantly. But field recruiting, it's quicker and you don't have to spend any money on it. So that is huge. You don't have to invest any money yourself on placing these ads for these people. You also have to know your 3 whys. I'm going to share you guys my 3 why of why I want to recruit. Well, the first reason is because I have to recruit. I have to lead from the front. This is a brand new agency, and honestly, there's you got to take extreme ownership. There's nobody else that's going to grow my agency other than me, personally leading from the front. So I have to kind of do it first. That way it kind of trickles down to the other agents below me. Number 2 reason is that I'm very competitive with my other fellow AOs. It doesn't matter where I'm at in the career track. I am always looking, guys, every Tuesday morning and every Wednesday when those reports come out and the career track reports come out. I am always the first one to look at those and just see where my team is and see where other people who are in the same, same part of the career as me, see where they're sitting at. So right now, I'm looking at where all the other agency owners are standing week by week. I'm very competitive. Obviously we were a very small infant agency at the beginning of this year. So I'm trying to build up and try and get up into the upper echelon. And guys, it's exciting seeing your business grow year in, year out. My third biggest why is just, I feature family, working hard for that. My fiance, I would prefer to pay now and play later instead of playing now and paying later. You have to pay at some point in life. Van always says, might as well pay now so you can have more freedom and flexibility down the road. So those are the reasons of why you should field recruit. For me, think about why it's important for you to field recruit. I would recommend writing down 3 reasons why you personally want to field recruit. So this is how you field recruit. So one of the reasons why of how we field recruit is just out in the field, just seeing people face to face. Like I said, if you're going B2B and you're going into 20 different businesses every day, some people do that, some people don't, right? If you're working more of a referral business, you may not see 20 people every day, but let's say that you see 400 people in a month. That's a lot of people, right? Guys, what we do is we train on field recruiting pretty much every single week in the office. I would highly recommend, if you ever have an office, if you're, trying to be a market director at some point, it will be smart to get your own little office, even if it's like a shared office space, guys. Every single person that invests money into their own office, they always get their money back. Yes, you got to spend money, but it's like that saying says, you got to spend money to make money, and that holds true. Getting your own office is a very important thing to invest in at some point. Now, if you just started here, don't go out there and invest and get your own office. But if you're a market director or above, I would highly recommend talking to your agency owner about getting your own office for yourself, because running meetings, guys, is powerful. And it's really the best way to train, especially right now, face to face. Like we can have Zoom meetings all day long, but having face to face interaction is huge, especially right now during the pandemic. And just think about what we're looking for, guys. We're looking for hard workers. We want to hang out with people. We call them PLUs, people like us, right? People that you want to spend your time with outside work, people that you want to go get a beer with, right? You want to go watch a sports game with after work hours. People that are very easy to build rapport with. Those kind of people are the people that we're looking for. Buyers, people that buy our insurance. We should always field recruit those people. If not for themselves, it's for somebody that they may know. So little story, last week I signed up a guy at a car shop, and, honestly, I wasn't really trying to recruit him. But I was like, hey man, Lindsley, we are hiring right now in this area. Who's the closest person that's looking for a new career opportunity, that's trying to find an advancement in their career opportunity? Who do you know that's, trying to get into a good sales career? Like, who do you know that's trying to make more money? And guess what? He referred me to his daughter. And guess what, guys? I have a final interview with his daughter tomorrow morning. So it works, guys. It works. I wasn't really trying to recruit him, because I really don't think that he personally would probably be a prospect for this. He's been, working on cars, for 30 years and, about to retire here probably in a couple of years. But I was recruiting people that he may know. And he was like, hey man, my daughter is about to graduate college. She speaks 3 languages. She's super smart. And she does sales right now. And so he gave me her name, her number, and I did a second interview with her yesterday, and she's got a final tomorrow. So guys, it works. You can either recruit them or people that they know. So here's a good little one-liner to say to people that you meet out in the field. Actually, it's kind of a 2-sentence liner. So it's, hey Lisa, do you plan on working here forever, or is this more of a temporary job? Well, the reason why I'm asking is that my company is hiring, and I think that you would do really well at this. Would you want to get some more information on what I do? Or you can say, are you open to other opportunities? And if they say yes, great. You probably already have their phone number. Get their phone number if you don't have it. And then what you kind of do after that is you edify the person who's going to be running their interview. Usually you would edify me if you're in Schneider agencies. You're going to edify Van if you're in Davenport agencies. You guys always give people compliments. People don't always remember what you say, but how you make them feel. Guys, give people compliments, even out there in the sales field, or if you're recruiting them or selling, all the time. I'm constantly complimenting people, just making people feel good. I promise you, if you compliment every single person you meet today, you're going to it makes you feel better as a salesperson as well. One quick tip on field recruiting: avoid the verbal diarrhea, right? So what we mean by that is, when people start asking you a lot of questions, like, so do you get leads? Is it all cold calling? Is it just strictly commission based? Just say this. These are great questions for my agency owner. He knows all the details about this. He's way better at explaining this than I am. I'm going to let you talk to Kyle, and he's going to explain this to you, right? So just quickly shift it off to the higher command, right? We do not want you to explain all these details, because there's definitely a right way to explain how this works to newer agents. You guys, if they're a super sharp prospect, ask, who do you know that's looking for other opportunities? My company's currently hiring. We're looking for somebody sharp, driven, fun to work with, and who's good with people. Do you know anybody who's trying to make more money, right? If you ask that to a super sharp person, guys, they're going to recruit themselves most of the time. It's funny. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person in this business. So if you just say that to every single person that you meet today, they're going to either recruit themselves or they'll have another name for you. I promise you, it's really not that hard to get 2 or 3 field recruits in a daily basis. So let's talk about personal recruiting. So this is people in your network. So these are people that you have, we all have these cell phones. So in your cell phone, you're going to have at least, I would say, a few hundred contacts in here. Some people probably have a few thousand contacts in their cell phone. So what you want to do with people in your network is, for one, you want to sit down with your team, say at like a Monday morning meeting or just a generalized meeting in general, and just sit down and explain to them, why it's important to, for them to personal recruit, what's in it for them. And guys, right now, there's a lot of things in it for us right now. Obviously, we have a $1,500 recruiting bonus from corporate, and me and Van are adding another $1,500 on top of that. So there's a $3,000 recruiting bonus. That's a pretty big incentive right there. That's not including the overrides. That's not including, field training bonuses. That's not including, getting advanced to field director by doing that at the same time, or to possibly market director. There's mega incentives out right now to field recruit. So what's in it for us is right now, it's at an all-time high. But just think about this. Think about if you, I saw this on a video a couple of weeks ago. If you were to have a concert, like the best concert, like think of your favorite band, right? The favorite band that you had growing up or whatever it is. Think about if you had unlimited amount of free tickets to this band, unlimited food, drinks, who would you invite to this concert? Wouldn't you invite all your friends? Right? Wouldn't you want all your friends to come be a part of this if everything was free? So think of those people. Those are the people that need to hear about this opportunity. And out of those people, who do you know that's a hard worker? Who are some people that may be underpaid? Who out of those people who are really good at what they currently do? Who are fun to hang out with? Who may be looking for a change? Who's good at sales? Who already makes really good money? Guys, all those kind of people can do exceptionally well here as well. So, and these are people in your network. So these are your warm market, like the leads that you already have without you even starting this career. So how you want to approach these people is, if you call them, you obviously, build some rapport. Hey, John, how you doing, man? I haven't talked to you in like 3 years. What's going on, man? Do you have, I see that you're married with kids on Facebook now. How's that going? Blah, 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 blah. Build a rapport with them. And then after, a few minutes, like, hey, John, hey, I thought of you, man, because you've always been really good at what you do. Honestly, I think that you would be very successful here as well. My company, we're currently hiring in your area. Would you be open to taking a look at what I do? Just boom. That's simple, guys. Keep it super simple, right? And guys, there's another way. I'm giving you guys 2 examples to how to approach your friends. Here's a second option. Let's say that if you personally don't want to recruit them, let's say that, you already kind of know that they're very well set. You never know. You can say, hey, John, build some rapport with them, obviously do the same thing. And they're like, hey, John, due to COVID and how many people are out there looking for other jobs, my company is in expansion mode and I'm hiring. Who do you know who has a hustle and a good work ethic? Who do you know who wants to possible, double their income, right? That's like, third-party referrals, right? So that's another way to get referrals from your friends. Or, John, he may just recruit himself. He's like, hey, man, I'd be interested in doubling my income, right? So, guys, there's a couple of different ways to kind of go about personal recruiting, but it's all about, making sure that you actually take action and communicate with your friends and family. Guys, these are your warm markets, guys. Like this is these people, they're in the safe zone. So you definitely want to talk to these people first. Let's talk a little bit about social media recruiting. This is big. So guys, we've been doing lots of Facebook posts, about every 3 months, we'll have a post on Facebook about, recruiting our friends or family. And it's honestly been I would say it's about time that we do this again. It's been probably 3 or 4 months since we ran the last one. But when you're posting on social media, you got to think about this. Think about what other people think about you on social media. Because guys, you don't see most of these people every day. There's people on my social media I haven't seen in 10 or 15 years since I graduated high school. So you got to think of what would somebody, what do these people think about you? Like, why would these people want to work for you? What do they see in you that they want as well, right? Making sure that, this is very important. Don't post too much on social media. that can definitely annoy people. You know, right now during the election, don't post a lot about politics on social media. That is definitely not a good thing, especially if you want to recruit people on there. Don't post a lot about religion. That's a touchy subject as well, guys. So stay away, from politics, religion. Don't post negative stuff. Don't be one of those complainers on Facebook as well. That's people don't like that. So 3 out of 4 posts that you have on Facebook should be nothing to do with family heritage. They should be with positive photos with you and your family. Let's say you take them out to a nice dinner. Let's say you go on a hike, like a beautiful picture of a mountain that you just hiked. Trips that you go on vacations, like we just this little incentive trip. Just posting some photos of your incentive trip with your friends or family, and it doesn't have to be recruiting posts either, right? So about 3 out of 4 posts should be non-recruiting posts, and this is kind of a technical piece. But make sure that if you do put up a recruiting post on Facebook, make sure that in the next hour or so that you get at least 10 comments. So make sure that you go to Voxer, tell everybody that you just put up a recruiting post. That way, we'll all get on there a comment. That way it goes viral. Because if you get, I think it's 10 comments in the first hour, your post goes viral, which is huge. And also don't make this career sound like a network marketing gig. That's super annoying, right? Nobody wants to work for a pyramid scheme. Don't make it sound like that. And also at the end of your post, make sure that there's an action item at the very last sentence. Like, message me if you want more information. If you want more information, just shoot me a personal message as soon as possible, right? Make sure that there's an action item. That way they don't just read it and they're like, okay, cool, that sounds great. Boom. You want them to actually take action at the end and actually message you. And if you get to like a good chat with somebody on Facebook Messenger, the goal is to get them on the phone and kind of, just talk to them over the phone. So they're asking a lot of questions about what we do. Just same thing, like, hey, these are awesome questions for my hiring manager, Kyle. Is it cool if I connect you to? Boom. If they're asking lots of questions, that's a good thing, right? That means that they're interested, right? So making sure that you can connect them to either me or your manager as fast as possible. So that's social. Guys, social media recruiting is huge in this business. This is a third thing. It's called the everywhere you go approach. So this is easy to do. It's also easy to not do. I know that, guys, we work out in the field, 40 hours a week and 45, sometimes 50 hours a week. And it's easy that when we get done working to kind of put our brain on the shelf and to not really be thinking about work. But guys, we need to have a recruiting radar on at all times. Your recruiting radar never goes off. Think about the TVs back in the day, the antennas on a TV. You had to fully extend the antenna, 3 feet long just to get good service to watch a football game. So that's, your recruiting antenna needs to be like that 24/7. Guys, top producers are walking by you today that we never even talked to. Wherever you go, whether you're at the grocery store or you're at a restaurant or you're just in a gas station, whatever it is, there are top producers there that will never work here because we never talk to them, right? In our daily lives, waitresses, bartenders, people that are just communicating with other people, chatty people, sporting events, people that just catch your eye. Like whenever you walk by somebody, they just catch your eye. You're like, man, that's a sharp person. Like they could definitely do. Like, guys, we see these people all the time. Here's a great little skit on what to say to these kind of people, right? So it's like, hey, what is your name? Great, my name's Kyle. If you talk to him, like, ask him, what do you do for a living? Great. Do you plan on working there forever, or is that more of like a temporary job? Well, I can tell that you're really good with people. I can just tell you got great people skills. My company's currently hiring, and I think that you could probably do pretty well doing what I do. Would you be interested in getting some more information on what I do? Boom, right? And guys, that's like if you've never ever met them, like if you honestly have never even said a word. Now, if you're talking to somebody for a couple minutes, you can kind of ease into that a little bit easier. But guys, it's the everywhere you go approach. Constantly having little conversations like that is huge. And know your recruiting story, because guys, some of these small little conversations can turn into a 20 or 30-minute conversation. So make sure that you know your recruiting story and why you came here. What is a big reason why you came here? A little bit about our culture. How well you've done. What this career has kind of done for you. Where you're headed for the future. And knowing your recruiting story is important as well in case it kind of dives into a more in-depth conversation. So a couple last slides. Edification. This is big. We do not want you to have what's called verbal diarrhea, where you kind of spew all the information on a prospect all at one time. It's kind of the same thing in like an approach. When you go into a business, the last thing you want to do is tell them all the benefits of the product. Yeah. Hi, we sell cancer insurance. It pays $6,000 cash to you if you ever get diagnosed. $800 every day you're in the hospital. Guys, there's a reason why there's different cycles of the sale. There's the approach, then there's the intro, buying atmosphere, right? This is the same thing. So there's a cycle of selling with recruiting as well. And we know that you probably don't know the sales talk word for word yet. So guys, I'm still getting it down myself, right? It takes a long time. So make your agency owners do the heavy lifting with the actually explaining of what we actually do, right? It's okay if you tell people where you came from, right? What brought you here, where you're headed for the future. That's okay. But when it comes like the minute details, let us kind of do that. So know how to edify your agency owner. I'm going to give you guys a good example. So this is a very basic one. So whoever your manager is, this is something basic. You'll be like, hey, my manager, he knows how the big money works. He knows all the facts about the business. He loves having fun. He's also very fun to work with. He's also willing to help people out, right? You guys, I'm going to tell you guys what I used to say about Van. This is pretty funny. So I was like, hey, Van, he's a straight stud. He's very successful. He's an awesome leader. He's very fun to work with. He's a very busy guy, but I'll make sure that he sets time aside for you so he can run your personal interviews. He's very genuine. He's humble. You will never know, but he makes pretty good money. He made over $250,000 his very first year here at Family Heritage, and he would be one of your leaders as well if you got hired here. Anyways, I'll give him your information, and he will be reaching out to you and explain how the interview process works and guide you through it. So, and this is crucial, as some field recruits get lost in the pipeline from when they first talk to you and whenever they're talking to the agency owner. So if you edify your agency owner, they're usually not lost in the pipeline as frequently. So this is the last slide here, guys. Well, we're kind of wrapping up, making sure that you have a tracker system. I went over this last week, guys, but you got to make sure that you put your recruits on the recruiting pipeline Excel document. That is huge because it makes things so much easier for us to track. Here's an action item. Make a top 100 list today, right? If you have not made a top 100 list, I know that when we were in Sales Academy, we all made a top 100 list of personal selling prospects. Do the same thing for recruiting prospects, guys. I promise you, long term, that would actually make you a lot more money than selling 100 people, if you had 100 people on your team, right? So make a top 100 list of recruiting prospects. Go through your cell phone. Okay, you don't have to recruit them personally. You can just ask them for recruiting referrals, whatever it is. Text these people a nice little text message, kind of similar to kind of what I said if you want to. Kind of ease into it. Put up a Facebook recruiting post. I challenge you to put up a Facebook recruiting post. And if you want some layouts of how to do this the right way, ask me or Van. I got a few saved on my computer of previous posts that we've done that worked out really well. Making sure that, guys, recruiting never stops. Just because somebody isn't a good fit right now doesn't mean that they're not a good fit forever. Guys, there's people that buy insurance from me that didn't buy 3 years ago, but now they're buying. Just like recruiting, guys, you got to constantly drip on people over and over again, because some people, 1 year, they may have a great job. They can get laid off at any day in the corporate America, or they just get sick of their boss. Some people just hate their boss and they just want to get out of it. And now's the perfect time. You just never know what the situation is for a recruiting candidate. So make sure that you're circling with your warm market. Last thing, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person. So don't get too caught up in the words. If you're thinking, I don't know what to say to a recruit. Yes, you do. Okay. Just be enthusiastic, just like selling. Tell them that we're hiring. Give them a compliment. Hey, you have a great eye contact. You have a great smile. You dress nice. You look sharp. We're hiring. I think that you could do really well here. Would you want to get more information on what I do? Great. Boom. Get their information. Tell them that, I will be reaching out to them or your agency owner, just like that. Super simple. So, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know, and we'll go from there.